Today we're watching a clip from TRIGGERnometry podcast. They had Mike Israetel on, and he's talking about something specifically about the risks of actually getting to be fat. Let's take a look.
Mike, what is the mechanism by which obesity is unhealthy? How does that work?
Like, how long do you have, you know?
Well, I suppose what I'm asking is, I think we sometimes get very confused, and I think a lot of people just feel that obesity is mostly an appearance thing. So
Really?
I think a lot of people do feel that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think that's partly because it's a way of putting that out, the reality out of your mind.
Course. Yeah.
And there's been times, by the way, just if people are watching, like, oh, these three people in normal shape, or it's like, fat people. There were times in my life when I was fat, and I think I was young at the time, but my concern was definitely not about the health implications.
Well, of course,
right?
Of course.
But how does it work? Why does
I do see the image thing's quite important though, right? Yes, there is a lot more to obesity, health complicated wise, than the imagery. But the imagery is a good flag point, I think, because even fat people kind of kid themselves, right? They say things like, after they fail so many diets, they will say things like, oh, well, I am actually beautiful in the body because I've accepted body positivity. A great, fantastic movement. But behind closed doors, if I was to still offer those people a magic pill to let the weight fly off them, they would take it. They're lying.
Right, because the reason I ask this is, there have been cultures in history where being obese was considered attractive or at least desirable, particularly places where there's not been a lot of food availability.
Not our kind of modern obesity.
No, true.
Thickalicious.
Yes.
Massively obese.
Not so much. No, agreed.
There just weren't even people like
that.
that.
But the other thing is, carrying fat is a desirable thing from an evolutionary perspective.
To some degree,
range,
absolutely.
right?
100%.
So why is it bad for us?
Right.
Yeah. There's a bunch of reasons. One is it's actually being fat is quite bad, but getting fat is really bad because when you're getting fat, you're having excessive calories put into you, and it means the amount of fats and oftentimes carbohydrates in your blood gets really high. And high blood fats cause a lot of cardiovascular problems. They clog up the arteries, like in the literal sense many times. And then high degrees of carbohydrate in the blood sustainably both are directly deleterious to various structures, like having a high glucose amount in the blood vessels close to your eyes makes you go blind, all this other crazy shit. And also it causes you to slowly over time get really bad at managing the glucose, and it causes you to be diabetic. And then so that's one of the main ways in which obesity hurts you. But when you have lots of fat cells, there's another way in which it hurts you. The fat cells secrete a bunch of different hormones, and those hormones affect how the rest of your body works. Most of those effects are not good. Fat is not, we used to think fat was kind of like an inert tissue, like it just sat there and you put away calories into it and it just sat there. It has a ton of hormonal effects along axes of the rest of the body, and it really fucks you up in a bunch of ways. There's another way in which it's bad.
And I think everyone knows this, when you are severely overweight, and I have went through extremes of severe obesity and severe being, very, very low body fat percentages. I can tell you now that the amount of side effects from obesity is mental. It's mad. Hormonal as well. Inflammation's up. Injury risk is massively up. You're constantly digesting food. You can't see dead of energy. Even from an anecdotal point of view, my last season of 97 kilo, I'd say I had to go down the leg. I was waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning. I was having heart pains all over you wouldn't believe. And most people, when they've been obese for so long, they get these side effects and they say, well, it couldn't be the obesity. I've been fat for years. It's something else. But it takes a long time for those things to kind of raise its head. And if you lose weight rapidly, you will notice, if it's a really fast weight loss, you'll take it for granted because you won't notice from the short term, but you'll notice that practically all those things will disappear. And that's a high correlated factor due to the fact that you've lost that weight. Anyway, let's leave it there. If you do like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Tons of other videos on the channel, check it out. But until next time, I've been Carl from the Ox Den. Catch you in the next one.